But it is a fantastic pivot into this video that too many people at this point have recommended to moi, to my booty, to my ass, to me, myself, and I. And it's called The New Aesthetics of Fascism. So we're known here for knowing how to deep dive into fascist ideology. Let's see what parts of this video we agree with, disagree with, and what we can learn from it, and what topics that it discusses we can use as a jumping off point for our conversations. But yeah, previous guy, just using religion and patriarchal norms as a jumping off point to radicalize dudes that might be lacking in that particular field, aka the field of getting some. Very, very classic approach. So yeah, let's move on to this. No problem. NP was forced to study that book front and back. Helps. Oh, okay, you're talking about something else. Who have heard her to the point where she is? Yeah. Butt chugging YouTube videos. Did you just say he's coming for my ass? Always.
Never again.
Apparently it's very artsy, so let's go for it.
That's what we Germans always tell ourselves.
Oh my god, a German video.
This should never happen again. And it surely won't, right? I mean, we now know how fascism looks like. World War II changed the game. That's why it's time for a redesign. A friendlier and more quiet form of fascism that slowly creeps its way into society. Remember, fascism does not equal fascism, but the aestheticization of politics remains. In a way that doesn't come with aggressive militarism, but in a disguise of technocratic bureaucracy, corporate control, and manufactured media staging. Welcome to the age of friendly fascism. Modern fascist aesthetic is therefore incredibly hard to spot, as there's no historical blueprint I can point at. While in the past fascist ideologies were more clearly unified and bundled and presented one ideology, today there are countless splitter movements that may differ in various aspects but still have clear fascist characteristics in ideology and therefore optics. The debate about whether this or that can ultimately be attributed to fascism is, in my opinion at least, not really relevant, as the debate about a definition only distracts from what is currently happening. I will now show you specific visual aspects, especially in Western contexts, which I believe show ideological connections to traditional fascism. The best thing I can do here is to let the aesthetics speak for themselves. The neo-futurist art movement has no connection to fascism as it did back then. No glorification of violence, war, and macho culture. What overlaps though, however, is the idea of a utopia, driven by technological progress, aesthetically represented in minimalism, dynamic curves, coldness, and futuristic sci-fi looks, speed, and momentum. So it's no wonder that many Silicon Valley companies in particular are adopting this aesthetic. I do see a philosophical connection between the early 1900s futurists and today's tech bros. The desire for a future in which technology will save the world.
And it's time to rebuild America.
A future in which the established market systems and capitalism de facto continue to exist, and yet all the issues caused by it are somehow alleviated. If only we unite under a national banner, if only we unite under a racial banner, if only we unite under a misogynist banner, or if only we unite under the banner of a tech utopia. Very good pitch. It's very true. It's very true. It is the constant rebranding of issues caused by capitalism as issues that can be solved through this or that social reconstruction. Fuck, this video might be good. This person, all the green flags, seems to know what they're talking about, because usually people miss that crux.
There is a cult surrounding tech bros.
please, mods, put this as pinned. And also, anybody who wants to become a mod, we are hiring right now. Please apply, apply, and apply if you want to be a people's police officer.
Like Musk and Zuckerberg. Beyond just their wealth, the whole techno-optimist mindset helped foster a culture where these absolute losers could be idolized. Libertarians like Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Thiel also clearly reflect the macho culture, as was the case in classic futurism.
I think having a culture that celebrates the aggression a bit more has its own merits that are really positive. It's one thing to say we want to be kind of welcoming and make a good environment for everyone, and I think it's another to basically say that masculinity is bad.
If you take a closer look at the glorification of war, the glorification is striking when you look at companies like Peter Thiel's Palantir. The ties between Silicon Valley and the military-industrial complex run very deep. A tech utopia, led by strong men. The glorification of power, progress, masculinity, and military dominance now comes in a context of slick minimalist corporate advertising or image campaigns rather than the avant-garde art movement of futurism. Imagine a tech-driven future in which corporations rule the world, climate change destroyed entire cities, fixed social hierarchies exist, and Ryan Gosling slowly bleeding to death. I think we can all
Also the pitch that being edgy is depoliticizing yourself when it comes to traditional analyses of what is wrong with the world, such as, for example, the socialist or anarchist pitch, because that's fucking cringy, not edgy, and dedicating yourself arguably to the most vanilla fucking centrist analysis of how to improve society somewhat, quote unquote, which usually the answer is tech or by being a moody, edgy fucking nihilist, bro. Yeah. If only I'm gonna TikTok edit my way into a fucking utopia, bro. Oh, I want to stay in here. Literally, give me 1 minute. Let me just really quickly go grab a piss, okay? Really quickly. I'll rewind it by 1 minute, and I'll be right back.
The glorification of power, progress, masculinity, and military dominance now comes in a context of slick minimalist corporate advertising or image campaigns rather than the avant-garde art movement of futurism. Imagine a tech-driven future in which corporations rule the world, climate change destroyed entire cities, fixed social hierarchies exist, and Ryan Gosling slowly bleeding to death. I think we can all agree cyberpunk might look cool, but is a future nobody really wants. So, how do I sell a future that will most likely happen, but with a less dystopian look? You've seen the line, right? That's solarpunk. Solarpunk is meant to be the optimistic counterpart to cyberpunk, a utopian aesthetic where nature and technology coexist in harmony. It combines tradition, conservatism, and polished tech futurism at the same time. Solarpunk does indeed represent a certain counter-movement to neo-fascist concepts, but there are dangerous tendencies into which the aesthetic could drift off. In the context of the so-called eco-fascism, authoritarian forces can be misused to emphasize blood and soil nationalism, population control, and racialized conservation. The danger is that the aesthetic of harmony with nature can be repurposed for exclusionary or nationalistic goals.
The aesthetic of absolutely everything can be repurposed for fascist goals. Okay? Every single identity known to man can be repurposed for fascist goals. Everything. You like K-pop? K-pop can be repurposed. You prefer mayo on your fries versus ketchup? You can make a whole fucking us versus them ideology out of it. Everything. Every single thing.
An aesthetic that is used by nations such as Saudi Arabia or Israel. A polished visual world that is intended to whitewash the blood of regimes. An attempt to erase bad PR after entire populations have been erased. Solarpunk is an excellent Trojan horse to maintain the illusion of a tech utopia and to sell the people a beautiful image that's worth aspiring to and fighting for. This aesthetic takes on fascist traits when the utopian imagery basically only depicts white people, relies on Eurocentric aesthetics, or presents colonialist imagery. That utopia becomes worth expanding for. Basically Helldivers.
And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
The fact that tech plays an almost religious role in Silicon Valley is not groundbreaking, especially when tech and consumer fetishism come together. Luckily, the tech bro cult isn't political at all. That's what they're saying, at least. The MAGA movement clearly has...
The final solution will save us all. AI will save us all. The difference between the two is logistics.
Aesthetic similarities to cult-like structures. A selected messianic leader who will return America to its former glory and bring the elites to justice.
With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have
I'm your daddy.
been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Of course, it's not just MAGA. Look at the AfD's Björn Höcke, for example. The aestheticization is just nowhere near as uniform and intimidating as it was in the 1920s. Mobilizing that way simply wouldn't work nowadays anymore. Numerous neo-fascist movements either collapsed or never gained momentum because of that. But the mystical nonsense is still there. Similar to 1930s Nazi rhetoric of the Jewish well conspiracy, modern fascism is dependent on conspiracy theories and vice versa. They are mutually reinforcing systems. Conspiracism supplies the emotional fuel, while fascist movements channel that fuel into political action. The rise of digital ecosystems has accelerated this feedback loop, making conspiracy-driven neo-fascism a growing global threat to democratic stability. In the US, far-right movements strongly overlap with Christian fundamentalism, or in India, Hindu fundamentalism, in Afghanistan, Islamic fundamentalism, and in Israel, Jewish fundamentalism. Unlike in the 1920s, religion isn't just opportunistic, it's central, a nation and leader chosen by God, with the Bible as the highest law. Therefore, patriotism is your...
Why is this the case? Why is this the case? The answer is very simple. Because a lot of people still find religion to be a big underpinning of who they are. When you're trying to give an alternative pitch to a Marxist one on why everyone is alienated, you still have to utilize a very important part of your people's identity. You can go two ways. A very difficult path, which is, for example, what the Nazis did, was recontextualize what race meant for the German, introduce concepts of racial superiority of the Nordic category of Germans as tied to ancient Aryans and so on, as a means to make them feel like they have something to lose and something to win as representatives of said identity, right? Or you can go the cheaper and relatively easier route, which is utilizing an identity that already exists, preying on the idea that it is somehow threatened, but more importantly, preying on a promise that they would all like to see come to fruition, where their identity stays atop all others, right? You are at the same time threatened as a Christian, you are at the same time threatened as a white German, but you are also about to enter the next utopian era as long as you are allowed to create a country pure and only made of those like you. Those are the two paths. And obviously the modern especially American fascists, are a little bit lazier, so they just prey on identities that currently exist, which is religious identity of many Americans, and not only in America, everywhere around the world. Sounds like Ben got Hans Zimmer to make the music for this video, for his video. Unpopular take: you can know everything about a person by how wonderful or creepy their religion makes them. Perhaps it only reveals good or bad character. Yeah, interpretation. Yeah, interpretation says a lot. Interpretation says a lot about about bias, and your biases say a lot about who you are, and who you are says a lot about the experiences that you've had throughout your life. Pretty much. That's odd since Nords. Yeah, Nordic race does not mean Nords. Watch my video on Nazi race science. It's a completely different thing.
Your duty to show your gratitude towards your God. Diffusion of fundamentalist religion.
Again, you either create a new category of identity, which is very difficult nowadays, or you utilize a category of identity that already exists, white, black, Christian, Muslim, whatever, and then you play off of it with two main points. Unless you follow me, your way of life will be destroyed. Point number one. And point number two, if you follow me, actually life is going to be fucking sick as fuck, and you're going to be the G.
With authoritarian nationalism.
Pastors socially distancing, mitigating, and walking with BLM, by the way, which is funded by Soros and founded by a lesbian Marxist who prays to Satan.
The esoteric occult mysticism of the Nazis is replaced with Christian aesthetics. It's also, of course, not an exclusive US-based phenomena. When looking at other nations, religious fundamentalism is often used to justify the power hierarchy. And linking one's own nationality with supposedly sacred values produces a threatened image of identity that must be regained. It not only produces a longing for the past, but also a fear of losing this collective identity, culture, and
a promise of a glorious future. If you want to see a glorious future, but not one led by disgusting racists, bigots, and fascists, and more importantly, yes, I said more importantly, a future without advertising, do consider supporting the show, allowing us to continue running as independently as we already are by helping us reach today's sub goal and subscribing for $6 a month or for free through Prime, or by oiling me up and turning fellow proletarian chatters into true proud child soldiers by gifting subscriptions. Take out your debit card, show how much you believe in the church of anti-fascism and the education we do here, and support the show. Thank you for even considering it. Thank you, my beautiful police officer, Toasty Android, for starting off with 5 gifties. Thank you very, very much, making that little subscription counter not looking as pathetic as it is. Crazy Shifty Pizza in no shifty way with those beautiful 10 gift subs. Thank you very much for your 75th gift sub. One of the OGs here and one of the best pizzas in chat. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. And ironically, without guys like you, none of this would be possible. So let us continue and keep the subs coming in. I'm not gonna say no to them. Fuck advertising.
Post values. Drifting off into Fantasyland serves one clear purpose: to manufacture the illusion of a deep ancient foundation for their ideology. Nostalgia for the past is still a major theme. Instead of addressing concrete changes in living conditions, people are promised a return to some traditional good old days like the 1950s or Reagan's 1980s in the US, Russia with the Soviet Union, or Germany with trying to bring back traditions in order to revive a lost culture, a lost nation. How this is exactly supposed to improve the lives of the people? Don't ask, bro. It just feels right, bro. And it's not just the culture that's lost, it's masculinity too. And weirdly, it's exactly the same narrative as in the 1920s. And for all its rebranding, far-right is
So Julian Howe, no, that he's addressing like the way the Russian Federation currently uses Soviet nostalgia as a way to motivate troops and the population to commit to war and so on. Blah blah blah. Yeah, and here, you know, masculinity is just a thing that is being used right now, right? It's using right now. It doesn't have to be masculine. Okay, the pitch can be pretty much anything. You can have, I don't know, a homosexual fascist Reich that somehow, I don't know, who gets all queer people from all around the world into one state, and they say, oh, we deserve our own state, and then they start killing the locals and shit. Like it's any identity can be co-opted. Absolutely every identity can be co-opted.
aesthetics constantly recycle the same old Greek, Roman, Nordic masculinity tropes, propagating the same message Mishima would be proud of. Having a strong body is moral, and men with weaker bodies are immoral. Okay, we are now slowly getting into online culture war. This is the goofy zone. Everything I'm showing you now is very stupid, cringe, and laughable. You could basically repeat everything I said in my previous video about fascist masculinity, hypermasculinity, aggression, dominance, strength, back to tradition, militarization of the male body. What can be mentioned, however, is the hustle culture. While in the past gym bro aesthetics were already big in the 1920s, linking physical pride and strength with money or cars is a more recent twist. A serious consumption of hustle content could potentially lead to even more content tailored towards young men. Fitness, routines, self-help content than to apolitical podcast bros. Dating
I mean, the overconsumption angle is heard there. Everybody's complaining about how it's really difficult in capitalism, but you shouldn't be a pussy ass, and you should grind really hard, and you can be the one that ends up on top. TLDR, the boot is right now on your neck, but you can one day wear the boot, and it's going to be base as fuck. This is, for the most basic of masses that believe that if they own the next expensive thing, or if they have more zeros on their income statement, they will somehow lift themselves from sadness and alienation, right? And the body shit is just a different coin of the same thing. You shouldn't be complaining about not being hot, not getting chicks, or being prone to getting beat up. This is not society's fault. This is 100% your fault. And if you satisfy this thing, get the next ideal body, get the next ideal like pinnacle of physical strength, you will be able to establish yourself higher in the hierarchy, and therefore be better. Hierarchy is at the crux. That is the underpinning point. That is the foundation of most fascist rhetoric, because it just simply tells you that hierarchy is natural and normal, and the only thing that you get to do and that you should do is try to reach higher echelons of said hierarchy. And you see, some of these guys are like, the swoller you are, the higher you are on that hierarchy, and the happier you're going to be. Or the bigger your bank account, the higher on the capitalist hierarchy you're going to be, and the more happy you're going to feel about yourself. Just different pitches on minimizing your own alienation by giving you some sort of weird-ass goal. I think I disagree on the body part. A healthy mind does most often inhabit a healthy body. Fascism thinks that being a good person means you have a strong body, not that a strong body is a result of work. Just look at how they portray Trump, one of the most unhealthy people on the planet. Yeah, I agree completely, but I don't think that's the point. That's the point being made. The point being made is putting you in a hierarchy versus other people based on how much you work out. So working out is obviously very fucking good, but saying that people who work out are superior to other people is a very different thing. That is the pitch being given here, you know. The other one works the same way. Not being impoverished and not struggling about where to get your next meal is not a bad thing, but completely dedicating your life to grinding out that new car is a manipulative tactic to make you think that, you know, happiness is behind the next corner of nicer car or bigger apartment or fancier and flashier clothes. They take concepts that are very realistic and very normal and very relatively, you know, fucking okay and chill, and they turn them into ways through which we can compare ourselves to whatever we are othering, and more importantly, as a way for us to achieve happiness through domination of the other, through being higher on the hierarchy than the other. I hope I'm making myself clear here, right? It is turning everything into a competition. You are not happy because you have a very good body. You are not happy. You are not happy because you have, you know, you're wealthy. No, you are happy because you have a better body than everyone in your community. You are happy because you have more money than everyone in your community. You see the difference? The difference is very, very important. The difference is very, very important. It completely changes the context. You will be happy if you dominate.
Advisors, and lastly, why the man crisis really exists. A deep dive into this pipeline can be seen here. In line with today's irony-poisoned social media zeitgeist, the manosphere aesthetic doesn't even live up to its own ideals. Neither did many men in the 1920s and 30s, of course. But hypocrisy has reached new heights these days.
We literally ended up in this position because everyone's a fucking That's how we ended up here.
I made a whole video about this as well, if you're interested.
Oh my lord. Oh, cute couple.
It's now more prevalent than ever that behind all theatrics and flexing hides deep insecurity that has to be overplayed. I mean, if you have to use filters and music to reinforce your toughness, don't be surprised when people think you're still stuck in puberty. Looking at the optics of online bro culture alone can actually be very cute, seeing these softies staging themselves as some stoic philosophical hero online. And I'm a softie too. But I'm not pretending like I'm not.
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. Okay. I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered.
And like every overdramatic theater kid, you just can't help yourself telling everyone how hard your life is, how much you struggle your whole life, when in reality, you might have no idea what real struggle is. So you have to pretend like you do. I have no idea myself. I don't know what it's like. I'm privileged. What differentiates this from this is that one of them is more honest and mature than the other. As usual nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, sure, okay, point, but that's not the pitch. The pitch is it doesn't matter on. The hierarchy of suffering sure matters, but not in this context. Here it's whatever type of suffering you have, whatever level of suffering, if we really have to level it, I find that to be weird, but whatever, if we really have to level it, whatever level of suffering you're on, you will be able to get out under, off through the pursuit of, in this case, for example, hypermasculinity, hyperconsumption, etc., etc. Right? I think you get my fucking point. Like it's the pitch here is whatever type of suffering you have, you will save it. You will save yourself from it by embracing the hyper-hierarchical view of the world where you want to be on top of the hierarchy. You will get down from under your suffering by being higher on the hierarchy. That's it. Great suffering or minuscule imagination of suffering coming from people with privilege or whatever, does it, the pitch works on both.
Everything is just shit and giggles until you realize what real-world consequences this has.
Obesity comes from you Jews affecting our media.
They have taught us World War II history like we're children. And they freaked out when I shared a BBC documentary, no less, because they had tried to wipe this from the universe about how Germans were ethnically cleansed. Stalin's, there's a book written by a guy, last name Kaufman, I'm blanking on the first name, where he said it's Germany must perish.
As absurd as the appearance might seem, there are unfortunately many who might laugh at it at first, but then start taking parts of it seriously. What started out as an ironic joke slowly turns into, well, there might be something to it.
Yeah, and it's never victimless. It's absolutely never victimless. It's 100% of the time not victimless. Because if there's going to be a group on top of the hierarchy, they need to be standing on a lot of fucking corpses, right? So the pitch, you will feel happier if you dominate others through this or that means, directly implies that somebody has to be dominated. That's the crux of the idiocy, the failability and immorality of fascist rhetoric, and of believing in hierarchy amongst humans as the pinnacle of existence.
The absurdity and especially the irony works great as a shield against criticism. Because, hey, none of this was really serious, right? Boys inside the manosphere love to identify themselves with characters from...
Hey, yugo microphone. Yeah, because it's a bit further from me. This setup is not my usual one. Usually I would bring it to me, but I can't hear. And everything fucking shakes, as you can see.
Pop culture. Whether it's Thomas Shelby, Patrick Bateman, or so-called edgelord characters like Joko or Eren Yeager. Edgelord characters are particularly popular within...
I lowered the video audio. Hope it's better. Bro, sometimes I just wish the Allies had just gone through the Morgenthau plan. At least they would then have a reason to stay bullshit. Like they want Germany to perish. Obviously, they didn't want it. Otherwise, it would have been erased. Yeah, pretty much.
Themselves because they see themselves in them. You know, the misunderstood outsider of society who are the actual victims. Or just straight up Nazi Superman. Edgelords break taboos or cross boundaries to provoke, often through sarcastic, dark humor. This mindset is clearly reflected in their visual aesthetics. That's why it's common to see references to provocative imagery involving extreme figures like Nazis, mass shooters, or serial killers in incel subculture. These are often used to grab attention to epically trigger snowflakes who take everything too seriously. The dehumanizing ideology of incels is especially visible in the cartoon-like portrayals of racist offensive caricatures like Chads, Janks, or Tyrones. These exaggerated figures may come with a tone of ironic dark humor, but are clearly ill-intended and just plain cruel. The caricatures closely resembles anti-Semitic cartoons or other forms of dehumanizing propaganda from the past. Unlike the Nazis, who used eugenics to justify racial hierarchies, incels used eugenics to measure attractiveness based on external traits. This reinforces the fascist...
Because most hierarchies are so inherently unnatural, they have to just invent shit. Okay? That's why I call fascists people who play D&D IRL. With people dying, of course. Okay? So if you're trying to build some fucking crazy sex hierarchy amongst which men get laid and don't, and want to build it up as categories inside of a hierarchy, you got to invent a bunch of shit. If you want to build a racial hierarchy between all the ethnicities, you got to just quite literally invent a bunch of shit. This is all completely invented shit. And that's what you got to play at. And that's why it's so inherently unscientific. Because... Because the idea that you can group people based on social or ethnic characteristics without introducing the economy in any way, shape, or form is unscientific.
Tone of their visual symbolism, the value of a human being becomes quantifiable. The higher your attractiveness, the higher your worth. I was actually trying to avoid the topic of incels because this frankly seems like a bottomless pit. The aesthetics of incel ideology deserve their own deep dive, so I'll be covering that in a future video. In a nutshell, men and women believe in fixed hierarchies in society. They have scorn for women, glorify violence, emasculate men, see themselves as victims, talk about conquering women, are fundamentally anti-feminist, justify or belittle assault, hate queer people, and love minors?
Yes. They're all pedos always. Yeah. But yeah. So what did we learn, chat? We learned it's again about hierarchy. Inventing a bunch of shit. You can invent it with ethnic hierarchies, racial hierarchies, gender hierarchies, hierarchies within those racial or ethnic or gender categories. Or you can invent a completely new thing. People with black hair, doesn't matter what race, are the superior ones. People with ginger hair or blonde hair, doesn't matter the race, are inferior ones. You build up your little D&D lore. You motivate enough people to pick up guns and go and kill people that have different colored hair, and you're going to have a hair genocide, okay? You're going to have hair bigotry. You're going to have hair-based discrimination. That's why it's so fucked up, because it plays on the most basic tribal fucking instincts by taking them into hyperdrive through unironically, like, relatively interestingly developed lore that, you know, people end up killing each other. The fascists going to war are people who go kill other motherfuckers over invented lore, okay? There's no difference between two dudes getting into a fist fight over who is better, Slanesh from Warhammer 40k or Nurgle from Warhammer 40k, okay? Two dudes fighting each other over those two fictional chaos gods from a fictional universe are as rational as two dudes fighting each other on the basis of race, right? Or on the basis of their perspective of who is superior, women or men. Or any of the more invented categories like fucking level 5 Gooner versus level 17 pristine gym bro.
I am so done with the manosphere, man. Let's just move on. What's next?
Someone from the Balkans explaining hierarchies is like a grandmaster teaching you chess. Well, I'm glad you think so. On this particular topic, I really believe I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
Ah, fucking gamers, no, God fucking damn it. There you go. Gaming is a perfect example. It's a perfect example of what I was telling you. Like you can take a consumer culture, which I'm a gamer, but it's a consumer culture. It's nothing more, nothing less, okay? People that enjoy le videogame. And then you can make it into an identity point. And then you can say there's people that are ruining your le videogame. So let's all come together and fuck them up, right? Then you sprinkle it with gender identity. You sprinkle it with ideological currents, and you have a perfect shitstorm. It's all fake. It's all 100% fake. It's all so fucking fake. How do people not see through this? As a Bronze King gamer, I had to create my own leftist BIPOC server to get away from these manosphere creeps. I can absolutely understand you. And I banned so many people. There you go. Means that there was need for you to do it.
Yeah. I know. We're all tired of Gamergate.
And we're all tired of ads, so subscribe and avoid the ad that is going to play in exactly 40 seconds. Become a subscriber, which makes you a child soldier in the great and unexcusably superior genociding intention of our army against disgusting, dirty, reactionary gamers. TLDR, if you subscribe, you become a child soldier, and being a child soldier means you are part of the anti-gamer squad, and you can be a gamer and part of the anti-gamer squad. It's called being self-critical. Support the show, help us reach our today's as close as possible to today's goal, and blah blah blah. Jesus, I hate doing this fucking grift shit. Yeah,
me too.
But yeah, subscription good, ad bad. Gamers bad, but sometimes chill.
But if you want to talk about far-right aesthetics, we can't ignore the most ridiculous, embarrassing, and stupid corner of the internet. One that heavily overlaps with the manosphere. Gamers. It's pointless to try and have a political conversation with many male gamers since they will insist they're totally apolitical. They just want to keep politics out of the games. Right? Steve Bannon? You can activate that army. They come in through Gamergate or whatever and then get turned onto politics and Trump. If you're part of a fandom or a gamer and chronically online, you've definitely seen these thumbnails, right? Very similar to the ones floating around in the manosphere bubble. Women in these thumbnails are often emotionally hysterical or hypersexualized. Or it's Rachel Zegler? These apolitical, edgy, basement-dwelling free speech warriors just want to protect the last sacred safe space for men. A place that's safe from being feminized. The last...
Everything can be used as a unifying reactionary identity by fascists. That is their greatest strength, and if there's something that you should learn from this video and today's coverage, that's exactly it. If they can make the identity of I play le videogame into something, okay, into something that can be militarized and used for a social and political movement, then motherfucker, absolutely everything can. So yeah, I can't wait for the crooked teeth people going to civil war against the straight teeth people in a couple of decades. Can't wait for the big noses to be fighting the short noses, okay? Can't wait for the cat people shooting across the street at the dog people. You could unironically make whole fascist ideologies based on those categories. It is that absurd.
Manly refuge, where real men can still be men. Real men.
And I'm so tired of the world being dictated by emotions and feelings, and we have to accept everybody even though they don't accept us, and this new era is just a bunch of fucking pussy limp dick soy boy. Due to this all being resurfaced by Hassan,
Блядь. And subscribe. Oh. Oh man. Oh.
I suppose I will no longer be interacting with my father in any way, shape, or form on my stream.
So, how does this protectors of masculinity visually manifest?
Oh, but you're gonna fucking get a PDF? A fucking pedophile? You're gonna get a predator? He's a proven pedophile.
Shut the fuck up. Who are these fucking weirdos, man? Whew.
Memes, anime, and pop culture characters.
It's like memeing into existence a government agency.
And then speaking to the internet the way it likes to be spoken to, which is memes, actually.
The left can't meme.
Harris' campaign was trolling Trump.
They're already trolling him.
He has been trying to troll the city back as much as he believes he's been trolled.
It's epic trolling, shall we say.
Just makes trolls like myself very happy.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much.
Bro, propaganda back then actually kind of slapped, but now we have this.
Literally what I was gonna say. Oh my god. Okay, you have like let me give you a contrast. 1 second. Okay, you got this versus one second. Okay, you have this. Both cringe, don't get me wrong. Versus this. Okay. So fascists back in the day, or at least what they wanted to look like, okay? Fascists today.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
Okay. Both suck, don't get me wrong. But come on. At least they had suits and shit. Like, for fuck's sakes. At least they didn't smell weird, you know? Right before the Nazi general walks into your village and executes you, at least he's fucking, you know, not annoying about it. It's so funny because the game was ass because of none of those. Yeah. Institutification of propaganda.
Du wirst abgeschossen.
They especially love using Wojak memes, like the stoic men who don't get triggered unlike those liberal SJW soy boys.
Which they post under, which they post as a comment under posts that trigger them, of course.
Which is so fucking ironic. There's the NPCs, the chats, the soy faces, and so on and so on. And just to show you how painfully uncreative the right usually is, they constantly recycle the same old memes over and over and over again. Doge, laser red eyes, thug life, epic troll, and dear god, if someone is still unironically using Pepe the Frog outside of a streaming context, it's a massive red flag. The fascist appropriation of Pepe has been
it's a bit like fucking oversensitive in my opinion, but okay.
Documented, and it's still a favorite among white supremacists and incels.
Yeah, red eyes are also reclaimed, and to an extent Pepe has also been reclaimed. I don't fucking know. I never got this this whole like but whatever.
The Groiper version especially. But Wojak memes are currently the newest victims of appropriation, which frustratingly is pretty smart. Like, try explaining to someone who's not online all the time that a fucking frog or Wojak could be a Nazi symbol.
There you go. Okay.
They understandably think I've lost my damn mind. What the fuck is Wojak? Solarpunk, Trump is Jesus, Jim Bros, Brie Larson, gamers, fucking memes, and now anime.
Animation. All my manga is 100% white, Aryan, and pure. Let's fucking go. No black pixels in my goddamn anime, you fucking Jews. Said by 90% of 4chan at this point.
Let's make this very clear again. Just because you like some of the same things a fascist would like, doesn't mean you're fascist. Nor am I implicating you are one. I love gaming, anime, and Star Wars too. But, bro, how am I not supposed to talk about anime aesthetics? when you constantly see this kind of shit. What another creator, the Cover Knuckle, noticed is that a particular subgenre of anime is especially popular in these circles. Mo anime girls. Cute, innocent, mostly underage, sometimes sexualized anime girls. Now, we're getting...
Yeah, it's just another step of the fucking fascist staking a particular subgenre or subculture or aesthetic and turning it into theirs. Blah, 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 blah. Rah, 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 complex analysis. Blah, 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 blah.
Getting into the really weird stuff. Putting aside the pedo vibes, this kind of cutesy aesthetic whitewashes all meaning. Suddenly, friendly fascism becomes quite literal. Anime aesthetics are perfect for whitewashing, softening or trivializing imagery that would normally be seen as fucked up. It once again shields itself behind irony and dark humor to delegitimize criticism. This entire nerdy online bubble is so bizarrely fascinating to watch, because they're so hyper online, so niche, that even the people who agree with their ideology still find them ultra weird.
Yeah, biological value to create human offspring. Exactly. Like that's a lot of women's, like women have like an intrinsic innate value because they can have kids. And so whenever they're older and they're not able to have kids, or for whatever reason, that's not really as viable, then their biological value goes down in the eyes of a lot of guys. That's it. Yeah, beauty's their whole selling point. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, the kid from The Last of Us isn't enough for us anymore. Hollywood's gone too woke ever since Harvey Weinstein left. Like, listen to yourself.
The movie stars are not as attractive anymore. I think women got uglier in movies.
What's up, Maple?
Movies ever since Harvey Weinstein left.
Yo, that's almost Andrew Tate level bar.
Games and movies aren't dying or under threat because of black Jewish trans women who are over 18 who don't want to fuck, or Brie Larson or pronouns. You are being manipulated and used by greedy corporations, grifters, and politicians, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, they're manipulating you, unlike me, who's not manipulating you when I tell you to subscribe for $6 a month or for free through Prime and support their show in a very non-manipulative way in order to avoid ads, which are used as a very non-manipulative pitch to you in order to get more money and make the show more sustainable in a very non-manipulative way. Look. Wait. Yes, there you go. Okay. 1 second. Copy. How the fuck do I copy them? No, stop moving. Okay. There you go. Okay? I'm not manipulating you. Oh my God, remove yourself from my existence. There you go. I'm definitely not manipulating you right now. Definitely don't press that button. Don't take out that debit card. Okay, that's the grift for this hour. I'm not doing that again. Hey, Yugo, can you manipulate? Yeah, look, it is anime girl. Even though this is not really anime style, this is like Western style of drawing anime. But that's the only one I could find that's holding subscribe. Jokes on you that made me sick. Sick as fuck, you wanna say? Yeah. Oh, Lord. The things a Twitch streamer will do.
This can't get any stupider. Right?
All my niggas, Nazis, nigga.
Okay, I'll be real. Guys, listen. I'm Jewish. You guys know that. Hitler was a great leader. What he did was wrong. I obviously but he was a good leader.
What does a fascist mean?
It means you are a far right authorization alternative. Oh my God.
Yeah. This
when you tell people you're on Twitch and everybody thinks that you're doing whatever that guy was doing.
Definitely needs
and then you have to stop them and tell them, no. I'm far less popular than that. What's worse?
Full video of its own.
You just know that someone showed him this video, like an intern showed him this video, and he's like, post that shit. That shit legit. But sir, it's AI generated. Post that shit right now. This was a spontaneous post. There's no way this wasn't a spontaneous post.
It's finally here. Trump gods are shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump gods are number one. Trump gods are shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump gods are number one.
This is, unsurprisingly, the wet dream of the far right. Unoriginal, appropriative, and hostile. AI is the pinnacle of all of it, not a shred of originality or creativity. So, of course, fascists love using it. What a lot of people notice especially, politicized AI slop is almost exclusively used by right-wing actors. But why?
Oh, this one was a classic. This one was a classic. You know, another classic is, wait. This one happened today. This one happened today. In Russia, you would be arrested. Von der Leyen tells a protester as he's being arrested.
They are in a free country, like Finland, where the free speech is a right, where they have not any restriction. If they would be in Moscow, they would be in jail in 2 minutes. This country have a democracy. This country has free speech.
This video is incredible. I think the person who posted this is problematic, probably. But I don't give a shit. This video is fucking incredible, dude. Like, this is art. How did this slip through, man? Meanwhile, in Germany shuts down pro-Palestine conference in Berlin.
The police is standing right in front of us and they asked us to stop the video.
Everyone keep calm, please. Don't give them any reason to be violent.
Everybody calm down. Shame on you. Shame on you.
We're doing this on purpose to intimidate Palestinian voices.
Wo unsere TeilnehmerInnen bezahlt haben.
Wir von der deutschen Polizei.
Jeez, they really love their fucking uniforms, don't they? Lord. This was last year, yeah.
Gareth Watkins argues that generative AI models primarily attacks copywriters, graphic designers, or artists, jobs associated with young, educated, urban, and often left-leaning workers. Imagine the White House hiring an artist to giblify an crying immigrant getting handcuffed by ICE agents. Ridiculousness aside, why should they waste any state resources when they can do this for free? There isn't just an utter contempt for art in general, but also for people and labor, creating depthless imagery that yields only the reading that its creator intended. No room for interpretations, self-reflection, or any value that typically comes from actual art. Grok, is this true? One of the reasons why I called
that was a great bit.
Nazi art soulless and empty in meaning in my previous video is their absence of soul and thought-provoking avant-garde bravery. Like the Italian futurists had, they instead insisted on the same heroic, romantic, conservative optics that were close to classical Greek and Roman art, the same realist, classicist slop over and over again, reproduced to death. Using art as a politicized weapon to reinforce norms and national myths into society. But hey, at least an actual skilled artist was involved in the making of those pieces. And as flat and propagandizing the art maybe was...
Yeah, now you don't even need a propagandized artist or an overpaid artist that will sell their soul in order to create shit for you. You just fucking run it through an algo, dude. And especially because you know that your like mostly reactionary audience doesn't really give a fuck about the fact that it's been ran through an algo. So they're like, yeah, man, look at this funny photo. I have a Michelangelo's David with a clown nose shirt. The more fascist I see, the more I love the shirt.
At least it looked good. And Leni Riefenstahl is to this day being taught in film schools. Where are far-right artists now? Today, the same reproduction of politicized art can be made at mass scale, without the use of any artists whatsoever. The right-wing aesthetic project is to flood the zone with bullshit in order to erode the intellectual foundations for resisting political cruelty. AI co-ops art and is perverting it. The ultimate.
I mean, you don't even have to go that deep. Like, just these organizations, they're not really good at thinking up chill fucking posters that they have to explain to a designer to do. And most likely, if a designer is working for a fascist org, they're pretty bad at it. So they both save money and they can skip out on their lack of creativity by just writing in a prompt. Like, it's sometimes that easy. The explanation is that simple.
New child soldier, subscriber.
Thank you, Psychedelic Comic Canuck, for the 4 months, my friend. Thank you very much for the support.
The weapon of aestheticization. The original artworks the AI models are trained on are being endlessly reproduced, therefore softened, diluted, until the substance of the original piece is completely rinsed out. Historical events, fascist ideologies, even war crimes or genocidal fantasies are being transformed into superficial, aestheticized content. Everything is made beautiful. The obscene is being normalized. Everything becomes Tumblr core slop. And we're still in the very early stages of AI content. The pinnacle will be deepfakes. Once deepfakes become normalized, we'll have reached the final stage of total meaninglessness. Deepfakes are the ultimate tool of oppression.
In a September 2019 survey, researchers at DeepTrace found that of the deepfake videos they could identify online, 96% were pornographic.
It's going to get real ugly. Memes, AI slop, pronouns, like, we've lost our sense of shame. Nothing is obscene anymore. And if anyone gets offended, just say it was edgy, ironic humor. At least fascists in the past had the f***ing balls to be honest about it.
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why? I don't want you here.
Has our reality really become Reddit? Or worse, 4chan? Look at this clown and tell me he's not the embodiment of Reddit. But Musk and Trump are just symptoms of our time. A mirror reflecting how the world works. Narcissistic.
Speaking of fascist aesthetics, have you ever seen Thomas Kinkadee's hidden collection? No. It's really actual art, and you can see why he drank himself to death. He spent his whole life painting nothing but nationalist, colonialist, Americana slop propaganda from hotels, and you can tell in his private collection it ate at him. He knew what he was doing was evil and white supremacist, which is why he killed himself, in my opinion. Especially for an artist realizing that your work, your whole life's work, was inherently hollow, that's tend to kill you. So yeah, there's a chance.
Rich white men grifting their way to the top only to hoard even more wealth and power for themselves. The most powerful country on earth is now basically a content house. Everything is content now. A spectacle. Masking politics through...
I've been talking about this for a while now. A potential war between the United States and Iran, and a real, 14-day war between Israel and Iran, was ended not by the President of the United States of America reaching out to the executive bodies of Iran or of Israel, but by posting about it. He posted that it's over, and his post made it such. Our posting president. The last step of a 15-day conflict was content. That's crazy.
Through optics and emotionalization in order to make it suitable for mass consumption. We truly live in the dumbest timeline imaginable.
Have they trained alligators to actually hunt the inmates? Is Tom Homan riding around in a fan boat? Is Donald Trump in the watchtower with a pair of binoculars?
And the worst part, it fucking works. Turning everything into ironic, memeable content has made everything meaningless. The restraints on fascist rhetoric are gone. The previously unthinkable is now normalized. No shame, no consequences. And no wonder no one takes you seriously when you call something fascist. Because you're right, it has lost its meaning. Which is the point.
Pretty much, yeah.
One key aspect of friendly fascism is the distraction from class war to culture war. Because we remembered. Fascist victimhood drives away from material conditions to a narrative that's mostly based on emotions, scapegoats, and conspiracies. And what better way to hand out megaphones to the working class to express their frustrations than with the use of social media? This is the perfect megaphone, as expressions can now be monetized, more manipulated and controlled via algorithms, AI bots, or outright censorship by insecure CEOs. We now live in a deeply, mutually dependent globalized economy that forces fascism to change its tactics. It can't appear as militant and loud as before, that's too obvious. The rising influence of private companies and therefore unelected...
Yeah, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. The militant pitch of the Nazis was just what worked at the time. You can have unironic soft fascism that eventually does turn hard, which can pretty much do the same thing. Fascism is not a strategy, it is a methodology.
Officials in politics slowly replaces the interests of the people into the interests of profit. Within the framework of friendly fascism, this culture war is not merely reactionary rhetoric, but a structural tool of governance. By mobilizing cultural anxieties and moral panics, an authority-oriented worldview is normalized. One that increasingly influences media, education, academia, and jurisprudence. This dynamic gives rise to a form of soft authoritarianism. While democratic structures remain intact, they are substantively hollowed out through normative pressure, production of enemy images, and discursive polarization. To achieve higher profits, nations are now seen as businesses with privatized military-industrial complexes. In order to maximize profits, the working class needs to be repressed as much as possible to extract the maximal amount of capital out of their labor. Cheap production, higher profits. That means
exactly. You gotta take everything. You gotta take all the breadcrumbs that you've given to the masses because you have to privatize them because you have no other alleyway left for the sewage water of capitalism to flow into when it comes to the private markets. So you have to turn all public goods and services into private markets, which then further radicalizes the wider population, which then either succumbs to barbarism or socialism. Those who do succumb to class consciousness and socialism and a materialist analysis of the world, you have to do something about. And you do something about it through violent, authoritative means. And that is the direct pathway from liberal capitalism into fascism, which is basically capitalism which does not shy away from the open use of force.
Means repressing unions, protests, deregulations, privatization, expanding police force, increasing surveillance, integrating the three separations of power, invading countries for resources, so far and so forth. Violence is now primarily executed with a gun, yet, but with paper, bureaucratic violence. Just look at Project 2025, the EU's healthcare system.
I have to disagree with him a little bit. It's not that fascism has lost its meaning, it's that fascism never had meaning to begin with. It just takes whatever can be used as a distraction from the class war and uses it to distract the uneducated masses. You are 100% correct, but you know that is why, like, that's why we have a word for it, in order to better identify it, etc., etc. Well, now identifying something as what it is no longer holds the same value as it has before. That's basically a speech. While you're correct, you know, that I don't think it's a disagreement. You're just missing a slight point of the relationship between a definition and its use value.
Or basically any asylum process or unemployment help. To soften or rather distract from a negative image, corporates use woke virtue signaling to promote their inclusivity and allyship. Corporates knowingly or unknowingly help fascist movements to flourish, as long as it protects their capital. Why else do you think Musk supported only far-right parties in Europe? Fascism, with the help of an oligarchy, now comes in the form of boring, bland corporatism that slowly creeps its way into society. Neoliberalism needs fascism to survive. They go hand in hand, because we can literally see that this system doesn't work anymore. Global crisis, inequality, war and suffering are at the rise because neoliberalism is not a sustainable model. The top 1% of the world's population own more wealth than 95% of humanity. 95. Each one of us is losing trust in the system, and therefore in democracy. According to the Leipzig authoritarianism study in 2024, only 42% of people in Germany are still satisfied with democracy as it functions. That's a drop of 15% since 2022. And in East Germany, that number plummeted from 53.5% to 29.7%. Meanwhile, racist attitudes in the West jumped from 12.6% to 19.3%. In the East, it's still high at 31.5%. And around 1 in 5 people are now openly showing sympathy for authoritarian alternatives like dictatorship or a strong male leader. Fascists exploit this by tapping into the collective frustration. They amplify the feeling of despair and offer people an outlet for their rage. But actually helping people would destroy the breeding ground for fascism. That hasn't changed since the past. In the 1920s, mass
What's up, Ray?
Image production became possible for the first time. A powerful
Everybody go give Ray a follow.
propaganda tool for fascists. Today, we see a similar phenomenon, the internet. And don't even get me started again on AI. The aestheticization of politics has proven its power once again, whether in the 1920s or today. We are witnessing in real time the shift into a post-factual world where fairy tales and horror stories with dangerous monsters have become the new reality. Again, step by step, the tracks are being laid to build a society ready for violence. A society eager to restore traditional masculinity, revive national pride, and troll the enemies of the people.
Or any other category, that they can find to be useful. He mentioned really well in the beginning of the video that, for example, in the United States, an identity that is really useful is, for example, religious identity, which you can exploit for reactionary purposes by telling you, by them telling you that, you know, there is a glorious path to be won through the pursuit of violent means that protect your particular identity, and vice versa, that there is a great hell to be avoided if you only stood taller.
But friendly fascism is fading away. It has become more bold, louder, more aggressive. The snake has finally begun to show its face again, and we are doing nothing. We have been completely desensitized. Hitler and Mussolini were connecting themselves to history in order to achieve an immortal legacy that is remembered as glorious and intimidating. Today's fascism comes with a corporate, memeable, ironic wink.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
Every cult needs enemies to sustain the constant feeling of victimhood and revolutionary progress. Defining in-groups and out-groups is crucial in every fascist ideology, otherwise the illusion of righteousness would fall apart. Everyone is out to get you, to destroy the beautiful thing you're being part of, to destroy your cause, to destroy your leader, to destroy what you love, your country, your culture, your identity, and your life. There's always one conspiracy after another. Fascists are spreading the belief that strict, unchangeable natural hierarchies exist, based on race, gender, or culture.
Or anything else, or literally anything else.
The ones
or
on
anything.
Top, the
IRL, D&D.
Supremacists will decide your worth.
Thank you, Cigar Full of Dynamite, for the 10 months, my friend. Superior culture is when rat alarm clock. Is when wall covered in blood. Is when tooth literally be falling out. Is when 90% of body odor is that of a literal fucking jungle gorilla.
If you're feminist, refuse to be a tradwife, or have slept with more than one man, you are already used and undesirable.
The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. It's your body, my choice. We will keep you down forever. You will.
But that's the funny thing. Throughout history, they never managed to. We will keep you down forever. Usually, they end up in cockpits. They end up strung from every single beautiful pole in whatever city that they occupied or ruled for a very long time. That's the irony with reaction. They react themselves to death. They push and they push and they push and they push, and then the reaction to said pushing ends up being bullets, ends up being swords, ends up being pits. Okay? Thank you, Gremlo. You're coming in right at the perfect moment, my beautiful raiders. Welcome in. Thank you, Grem, for the raid. Everybody give Grem, a dear, dear friend of the show, a follow right the fuck now, or you are not my friend. Welcome in, guys. We're talking fascism. We're watching a very good video, the new Aesthetics of Fascism, and it's pretty good. It underlines and overviews the many different ways different identities are utilized nowadays as a means to introduce an alternative analysis of alienation to that of socialists and anarchists and progressives in general, to one of in-group versus out-group mentality and constant fighting. So yeah, welcome in. Hope you're having a great day, and I hope Graham had a great day as well. Give me a follow if you're interested in this type of shit. And if anyone was considering gifting subs, now would be a great time to make our beautiful new chatters feel as welcome as possible. Thank you in and welcome in. Mussolini, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down. Absolutely.
Again, and yes, we control your bodies. It's your body, my choice. We will keep you down forever.
But you will not. That's the whole fucking point. You will not. Okay? This is a Band-Aid on a tumor that is slowly eating us out from the inside. And that Band-Aid is simply killing as much time as possible so that the tumor can develop. I'm talking about the fascist Band-Aid, the barbaric Band-Aid to the capitalist poison. And eventually, throughout every single instance of our people's history, and by our peoples, I'm speaking about our motherfucking species, we have eventually gotten over it. I'm not just talking about World War II. I'm talking about every empire, every colonizer, every class dynamic in which one steps on the other. Eventually, fires rose so fucking high. Eventually, contradictions piled up until we could no longer see the sun. And motherfuckers started falling out of windows. So let them do their little LARP for as long as possible, because that's what every single reactionary government and system and movement is. LARPing that they can keep progress at bay. LARPing that there is no better tomorrow. LARPing that the past is preferable to the future. They will LARP their way into the grave, as they always had throughout history. This is not me warning anyone with my violence or chat's violence or with violence in general. This is me just unironically telling them that they're digging it for themselves. Because every single emperor, every single reactionary, every single member of our species that throughout our history thought that they can keep the boot on our neck forever, ended up, without legs. Thank you very much, Oblivious the Whole, for the gift sub. That is very kind of you, my friend. Thank you very much.
You will never control your own bodies. Your body, our choice.
This will reduce your worth. If you produce art, content, or other forms of creative expression that don't align with right-wing ideals, are no longer labeled as entartete Kunst, but are instead branded as woke. Anyone who challenges conservative social values is automatically considered woke. A neo-Marxist, a communist, a beta sheep. This will reduce your worth.
And there was a wisdom in what Richard Nixon said approximately 40, 50 years ago. He said, and I quote, "The professors are the enemy."
If you're an academic or professor, part of the entertainment industry, or a politician who doesn't submit to the president, you are seen as part of the deep state, the elites, and are therefore labeled as communists, globalists, Freemasons, or satanic pedophiles. This will reduce your worth. If you're part of the queer community, you will be seen as sick, perverted, and pedophilic. Again, this will reduce your worth. If you don't have a full functioning body or mind, your genetics are seen as broken or infected that needs to be dealt with. This will reduce your worth. If you're black or an immigrant, you will be seen as barbaric, aggressive, and unintelligent. This will reduce your worth.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. It sounds really shitty, but I think that Israel should just draw up its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place.
Thank you, Toasty, for the gifting. And yeah,
I'll
let them speak for themselves.
Really shitty, but that's about where I'm at.
If you're a Muslim, you will be seen as anti-Semitic, barbaric, and a terrorist. Ever since 9/11, and now with the extermination of Palestinians in Gaza, the dehumanization and death toll of Muslims worldwide have rapidly grown. This will definitely reduce your worth.
I saw in Auschwitz that if a dominant group wants to dehumanize others, so as the Nazis wanted to dehumanize me, these dominant group must first be dehumanized in a way themselves by diminishing their empathy due to propaganda and
the one dehumanizing also gets dehumanized, for he removes every aspect that makes the human experience beautiful from his understanding of the world. He creates fictional lore that he dedicates his whole life to. Racial hierarchies, ethnic hierarchies, gender hierarchies, blue eyes versus brown eyes hierarchies, tall versus short hierarchies, cat mums versus dog mum hierarchies. They're all equally absurd. Motherfuckers willing to die, but more importantly and more disgustingly, to kill based on fake ass lore. That's what makes it so pathetic. It's rooted in nothing. It is empty, which makes their souls as empty once they pursue it. Are you familiar with Professor Yehoshua Leibovitz? He is an Israeli professor that coined the term Judeo-Nazi for Israeli Zionists back in the late 80s and early 90s. Very interesting. Thank you for contextualizing. If you have morals, you cannot hurt other humans. So these groups you hate must become animals for your ideology to be logical. Yeah, or even your entire moral compass can be redefined, which to an extent you are saying as well. You know, you can just alter your morals, or you can, still consider yourself holding classic morality, but that one that does not apply to the dehumanized category, for they are not the same as you.
Indoctrination. I am appalled about how hateful, how dehumanized, that they do not see any human aspect in any Palestinian anymore. It's terrible. The Zionists have not any right whatsoever to use the Holocaust for any purpose.
And if you're Jewish, you could be, again, seen as a parasite that conspires against your people. The murder of 6 million people, you and the generational trauma you suffered will be weaponized by the people in power to justify the war crimes and genocide, resulting in a surge of modern anti-Semitism. Again, this will reduce your worth. One of the most naive mistakes is the belief that you yourself would be safe under a fascist regime, no matter how much you submit to the state. One question will always linger in your head. Am I safe?
Incredible video. You have the link pinned in chat. Please go and subscribe for obvious reasons, because it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. One second, I'm sending something unrelated. Ah, fuck you. Oh, wow. That was great. That was great. Great conversation that we managed to have. Ben Boerman, I will repost the link in a beautiful, beautiful chat. There we go. Go and subscribe right now. Now I have to run. I have to run. Thank you for everything you do for me. Thank you for hanging out with me. Today's session was genuinely very informative. I think we all learned a little bit, all developed our theoretical understanding of fascism. It was very chill. Drive safe, 10 and 2, no drinking. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Okay, bye-bye, beautiful people. Mwah. BB. Fuck you, BB. BB.